Mayfield this morning. Baker hasn't exactly been lighting it up statistically this season, but on Sunday, in a shootout against the Chargers, he did play his best game of the year. Of course, it came in a loss, but certainly Baker being better is a bright spot the Browns will take. And Baker was asked yesterday if he thinks he turned a corner in that game. Take a listen.
Trying to produce a win, and that didn't happen. So that's been my key focus ever since I got here, and that's going to continue to be that way. And so whether I'm a great fantasy quarterback or to me, I don't really care about that. I'm trying to win, and we didn't do that, so I didn't do my job.
All right, we got Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks here to help break this one down. Good morning, Bucky. Great to have you as always. I'll just start with this. Can the Browns win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield?
Yes, they can win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield, but they won't win a Super Bowl because of Baker Mayfield. It's important to understand quarterbacks in this context. They're either trucks or trailers, meaning they're trucks where they carry the team on the back of their own talent, or the team carries them as a trailer. When I think about the trucks in the league, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, those are guys that on the strength of their talent, the team is able to win. Some of the trailers in the league have been the Jared Goff of the world, where the rest of the team has been able to carry them to success. And much like Jared Goff got the LA Rams to a Super Bowl, you can get there, but the path of victory is a little narrower. So for the Cleveland Browns, they absolutely can be a Super Bowl team with Baker Mayfield being the quarterback, but the supporting cast, the players and coaches have to be at their best so Baker Mayfield can thrive as the quarterback.
Yeah, look, I totally agree with Bucky, and I think there are people out there that are expecting me, or maybe Nick will say no, but they can definitely win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield. Remember, last year, the great win over Pittsburgh, and I know Pittsburgh was trending downward, but that playoff victory over Pittsburgh with Baker Mayfield at quarterback in Pittsburgh, half of the coaching staff missing, if not more, including the head coach, Kevin Stefanski. And Baker plays great. 3 touchdowns, 263 yards passing. They win that game. Then they go to Kansas City and lose by 5, 22-17. Again, not necessarily because of Baker, but he can manage the game and occasionally make big plays. Like Bucky said, you got to be great defensively, and they have improved in that area. They need to keep improving. And then they have arguably the best running game in the league. I mean, they don't have Derrick Henry, but they got 2 tremendous backs in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and a nice cast of receivers as well. And here's the thing, too, about Baker. He can improve. Let's understand. He's had, 5 offensive coordinators since he's been in Cleveland. This is his first year, Nick, with a head coach for the second year consecutively. So I'm not saying, I don't think Baker will ever be a top 5 quarterback. He'll never be a Mahomes, a Justin Herbert, a Aaron Rodgers, in that class of guys. But he can get better, be far above average, and yes, you can definitely win a Super Bowl with him, Nick.
So the improvement here is the key. And so Baker is never, I don't think he's ever really been properly rated. He was probably somewhat overrated his first year. Then his second year when everyone was killing him, they're like, oh my God, look at the Browns. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, they are the Browns. They were 1-31 the 2 years before he got there. And they got our old guy Soup Kitchens as the head coach. Like, let's maybe cut him some slack. And so here, what Bucky is talking about, the trucks versus trailers, is interesting. The problem for the Browns is, what if you have to start paying your trailer like he's a truck and you lose some of the cargo? To torture the analogy further, you can't have all these great weapons. You can't have 2 awesome running backs. You can't have all the wide receivers and the defensive players because you paid Baker more. But here's the thing, Wilds. I think Baker needs to play better because the level of quarterbacking in this league is at an all-time high. But I also do not want to say he is a finished product. And I wonder if a trailer can turn into a truck. And Wilds, I'm going to do the very rare, almost unprecedented, cross-racial quarterback comp. Can Baker go on a Dak Prescott trajectory? Dak was a trailer when he started. He's now a truck. Dak was a guy, it's like, yeah, you can win, but you got to have Zeke. You got to have the offensive line. You got to have all this stuff. But now Dak, it's like, hey, put Dak on any team in the league, and they're going to have a decent to very good offense depending on the weapons. So that's the next step for Baker. Can he transition from trailer to truck? I think he can. I think his work ethic's never been in question. His competitive spirit's never been in question. His unbelievable acting, have you seen those commercials? Never been in question. And that actually, you might be like, oh, Nick, you're silly. Hey, that in these days, with roughing the passer penalties deciding football games, I'm not naming names, or maybe Chiefs Bills. I mean, that was a tough one from the Chiefs. Hey, the acting can matter. So for all those reasons, Wilds, I feel like they can right now go to the Super Bowl if everything falls right because the team around him is so good. When the team around him is not as good, if he evolves, they can. So the answer is yes and yes to me.
Okay, I 100% agree with you. And Bucky, sometimes perhaps I'm a simpleton. I am a Neanderthal when I watch football because you know what I like? And it's taboo to say, quarterback wins. Oh, Wilds, you're a fool. You don't know what you're talking about. You like quarterback wins. I do. It's why I like Jimmy G. And it's why I like Baker's quote. He's like, I care about winning football games, not about, your fantasy score. The issue last game, because Herbert was so sensational, was the Browns defense allowed the Chargers to score 26 points in the fourth quarter. And then we come on this show like, what about Baker? Baker? They scored 42 points. It reminds me of the Ravens game when they put up 42 points in that game last year. And we're like, Baker, like, what do you want the guy to do? Perhaps it's the commercials, the reason that he has so much scrutiny. But I like the fact that Baker's trying to win games. And he recognizes if the best way to win games is to hand the ball off to Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb more times than perhaps his agent would like him to, then so be it. I'm pro Baker. I think they can win the Super Bowl, and I think he takes unnecessary slack for not slinging it around and filling up the stat sheet and just getting W's.
Oh, no, Wilds. I'm not going to let you let Baker Mayfield off the hook as the #1 overall pick. Absolutely not. When you come into the league, celebrate it as the #1 overall pick, you are expected to be able to shoulder a load. Otherwise, why take you #1? So the problem has been because Baker Mayfield came in as the #1 overall pick, we have to view him as a truck. You don't go and draft a trailer #1 overall. The reason why we can have that conversation with Dak Prescott is because Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick and outperformed the expectations that were associated with being a mid-round pick. For Baker Mayfield, he's #1. And when you're #1, we expect you to make it all right. And the issue that you have coming is we're talking about Baker as if he's a young quarterback. He has 50 starts. You typically know what a quarterback or a player is after 3 or 4 years. But now we're coming up on the crossroads for the Cleveland Browns where they have to make a decision. Are you going to pay Baker Mayfield what Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, and those guys receive? Or are you going to really look at how Baker Mayfield plays and pay him a contract that's according to what he does personally, individually? Because if you pay him like Pat Mahomes, you then begin to believe that he can do Pat Mahomes-like stuff, and you remove some of the weapons around him. And if he is unable to do it, everybody is disappointed because he falls short of the threshold based on the $40 million club and being the former #1 overall. Just look at Jared Goff and also look at Jimmy G. The reason those guys are scrutinized is because the expectations, rather, the compensation doesn't match the production. That's why everybody's upset.
No,
Bucky, here's what I say,
sorry,
though.
Bucky.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I apologize.
Go ahead.
It's Brandon. No, Brandon, we can't put you on the screen. Brandon Marshall. Sorry, it's Brandon Marshall. He's trying to jump in on the Baker Mayfield thing. No, buddy, we're all giving him credit. Sorry, Brandon. We'll talk to you later, buddy. Sorry. All right, as you were, Broussard. My bad. Sorry.
I was going to say, at this point, look, I get it that he was the #1 pick, but we can't look at him that way anymore. Okay, he's not like going to be this guy that steps in and changes the fortunes of his franchise by himself. Yes, he was the #1 pick, but that's not how we can look at him right now. And I'd say, and this, I think, Bucky, I think you'd agree with this. And Nick, this answers your question about does he have to become a truck if he gets paid? Don't pay him. I play him out next year on his 5th-year option, and then I franchise him for a year. That gives me 2 more years to see what he can do and maybe win a Super Bowl in those 2 years and then decide from there. So I think it's that simple.
Still got that progressive
also, he really
money
only
rolling
had
in,
one
Jenna. He'll be
good game
fine.
this season. A lot of progressive money rolling in. Bucky, that was great. Thank you so much. Much appreciate the insight. Hey, we got to take a turn, talk some NBA. We got to talk about Zion. Haven't talked about him in a while. He's still recovering from off-season foot surgery. Is he going to be on the floor for the Pelicans opener in 6 days? Yeah, but most people aren't watching the whole show. They can only take me and Vincent and Keith.